Since a friendless teen lives a monotonous life, she decides to accompany a man, hoping to gain a friend. However, their relationship takes a dark turn, leaving her with a trauma that will haunt her forever. One night, at a store in Italy, Nadia purchases a scratch card to try her luck, but she's unaware that Brando and his uncle are checking her out. The following day, after school, Nadia returns to the store, where Brando initiates a conversation with her. He asks her what snack she'll have, and Nadia hesitantly tells him that she wants an ice pop. Delighted at her response, Brando urges her to pick one because he offers to pay for it, which she gladly accepts. After she has chosen the flavor she wants, Brando doesn't leave her alone. Instead, he invites her to take a walk with him. Outside, Brando is curious about Nadia, particularly if she lives in the area. Nadia confirms that she's a resident, but Brando can't help but comment that he has observed that she's always alone. He wonders if she has any friends, but Nadia denies it, explaining that people her age irritate her. Moving on, Brando asks if she's in school, which she confirms by informing him that she's currently in her 3rd year at the hotel and catering school. He's surprised by the information because he has attended the same school. He jokes that he'll sell his waiter's shoes if she needs them, but Nadia remains silent. With Nadia's dismissal, Brando informs her that he actually dropped out of school. Now, it's Nadia's turn to show interest in what he's focusing on in his life. Brando reveals that he frequently changes jobs, but he enjoys helping his uncle at the repair shop sometimes. Due to Nadia's silence, Brando decides to invite her to accompany him to his house, as he promises to show her a gun his uncle owns. He entices her by highlighting that the firearm is an Astra Cub, which he claims costs a fortune due to its rarity. Later, in Brando's residence, he proceeds to make a suggestive comment about Nadia's jeans, but the clueless teen thinks he's just complimenting her. As a response, she shares that it's old, and she can't remember where she purchased them. Realizing that hinting his desire to bed her is futile, he just invites her to check out his uncle's gun. Brando leads her to a room and proceeds to retrieve a box that contains the prized weapon. He boasts that it's the smallest gun in the world, and he excitedly hands it to Nadia so she can check it herself. At first, she's interested, but when she examines the gun, she feels indifferent about it. After Brando returns the gun, he tries to touch Nadia, but she rejects his advances. She pleads with him that they should leave, but Brando refuses because he's yet to claim her. He coerces her to agree to do the deed, stressing that they have the place all to themselves. Uncomfortable, Nadia reiterates her disagreement with sleeping with him, but her response only upsets him. He accuses her of being experienced and makes it appear that she's just playing hard to get. In the end, Brando resorts to threatening to shoot her using the gun, frightening her. Nadia tries to escape, but he slams her to the wall and orders her to submit to him. Before he takes advantage of her, Brando heads to the living room and turns on the television. He sets it at a high volume to drown out the screams of help Nadia might produce. Shortly after the deed, Brando orders Nadia to keep their encounter all to herself. If Nadia refuses to cooperate, he threatens to involve his uncle and his friends in teaching her a lesson. His threat terrifies Nadia, so she simply gives him a nod of acknowledgement. Back home, Nadia contemplates confiding to her mother, Monica, about her traumatizing experience. Eventually, she sets her plan aside because she is afraid of Brando's threats. Instead, she just takes a bath in hopes of cleansing herself from his filthy touches. Then, she joins her family in eating their dinner, but Nadia's appetite isn't present. Suddenly, a loud knock disturbs the silence in their house, and Nadia becomes terrified that Brando might be their visitor. Much to her relief, her sister, Emanuela, enters their room accompanied by their mother. Emanuela announces to her family that she's now employed, which makes her parents happy for her. She notices that Nadia remains silent, so she approaches her and comments that she's in her own world again. Unexpectedly, Nadia hugs her tightly, for she's longing to seek comfort. The following day, Nadia spaces out in her class as the event yesterday continues to haunt her. That's why, when she's changing for her waiter uniform, she forgets to bring her shoes. Her classmate warns her that an incomplete uniform will result in exclusion from the lesson. Despite this, Nadia is confident that they'll let it slide since it's her first time committing a mistake. During the lesson, the instructor questions why Nadia isn't wearing the required shoes. She explains that she has left them at home, but he forbids her from joining their class, much to her disappointment. On her way home, Nadia finds a vacant seat on the bus near 2 gossiping women. She decides to take it, but she feels uncomfortable when she hears them talking about their experience making love. Their topic reminds her of the night Brando took advantage of her. Hence, she proceeds to get off of the bus immediately just to get away from them. One day, at a different cafe, Emanuela wonders why she chose their current location. especially since she prefers the one in their neighborhood. Nadia lies that she doesn't like it anymore, but in reality, she's trying to avoid Brando. Moving on, Emanuela asks her if their mother worries why she doesn't stop by their house that often. Nadia assures her that Monica remains calm since she still visits them. While the siblings are conversing, Brando enters the cafe and orders an ice pop for Nadia. To rattle her, he puts the ice pop in front of her and leaves without saying anything. Emanuela asks if he's her friend, but Nadia refuses to answer as her attention is focused on him. Brando gives her a threatening gaze, prompting her to avert her eyes due to fear. Since she hasn't shown interest in consuming the ice pop, Emanuela wonders if she'll eat it, but Nadia refuses. She watches as her sister eats the treat with gusto, but it only serves as a reminder of that night. Abruptly, Nadia informs Emanuela that she has to leave for the supermarket, reasoning that she has to purchase some school supplies. In the supermarket, Nadia purchases a pregnancy test as she's starting to feel unwell. That night, Nadia tries the test, and to her dismay, she discovers that she's expecting. The next day, Nadia boards a train to Emanuela's apartment, for she needs someone to vent out. Once she arrives at her destination, Nadia tries to ring her sister's doorbell, but no one answers. Though frustrated, she has no choice but to wait for her sister to get home, which takes her a whole day. When Emanuela arrives, she wonders what happened to her because she's surprised by her sudden visit. Nadia tries to downplay her problem by saying it's not important, but she promises to tell her about it. Upon entering Emanuela's apartment, Nadia finally breaks down in tears as she confides with her that Brando has taken advantage of her, and it even led to her pregnancy. Emanuela is in disbelief, given that it's too early for her to have her own child. Still, she comforts her and assures her that they'll sort it out. The following day, on their way to their parents' apartment, Emanuela asks Nadia if she has told her friend Katerina about the pregnancy, but Nadia reveals that she is estranged from her now. Surprised, Emanuela inquires about the reason, and Nadia shares that they just have different priorities in their lives. This makes Emanuela sad for her sister, so she asks if she has found another friend, but Nadia believes she's better off without one. Later, in their parents' house, Nadia locks herself in the bathroom as chaos begins to ensue. She overhears how upset her father is at Emanuela because he thinks she's defending Nadia for getting pregnant early. Emanuela clarifies that she isn't defending her sister, leading their father to question why she isn't angry at her. For Emanuela, it's pointless because it will only stress her sister more. Their father declares that they'll remove Nadia's unborn child from her, as he's sure it's the best solution to prevent her from worrying. However, Emanuela expresses her frustration about the possibility of failing to talk things through with Nadia. When her father wants to beat Nadia, Emanuela criticizes him for considering aggression in dealing with their problem. Their father thinks that talking with Nadia will lead to nowhere, given that she locked herself in the bathroom. This time, he wonders if Emanuela knows who fathered Nadia's child, but she denies it. She adds that even Nadia is unsure of his identity, which infuriates their father. He accuses her of sleeping around, further hurting Nadia's feelings. That night, Nadia's father decides for his daughter, without consulting her about what she wants to do with her unborn child. The man asks Monica if she has booked the place where they'll remove Nadia's unborn child, and the woman confirms. He's determined to get rid of their daughter's unborn child, so he pressures Monica to arrange the operation soon. As she's afraid of their patriarch, Monica acknowledges his wishes, and she assures him that it will be an easy process due to the advanced technology these days. Nadia's father points out to his daughter that she isn't ready to be a mother yet, so he believes his decision is for the best. A few months later in class, Nadia calls her teacher's attention because she has to use the toilet. The instructor is puzzled because she has just returned from the restroom. Nadia voices that she urgently needs it again, but the instructor is disappointed at her lousiness in class. Can't resist it anymore. She decides to ask Nadia when she can test her because she doesn't have a grade in their subject. Nadia urges her to choose a day so that she can study hard for the said test. However, the instructor reminds her that she only attends their class once a week, resulting in her missing the entire curriculum. Nadia suggests that she can give her a 6 for now, and then she can test her after. Before leaving, she asks her teacher what chapter she should study, but the woman refuses to inform her because she expects Nadia to be aware of what they're tackling. Not backing down, Nadia insists she has notes for them, but the woman simply ignores her, thinking their conversation is going nowhere. Irritated, Nadia goes to the restroom, which exposes her pregnant belly to the class and makes her the focus of her classmates' chatter. When Nadia returns to class, she starts to open the package of her biscuit, and the noise attracts the instructor's attention. She informs Nadia that she gave her a bad mark, leading her to question her decision. The instructor reprimands Nadia's disruptive behavior, which, in her book, deserves such a consequence. Overwhelmed, Nadia lashes out at her teacher, emphasizing that she has problems she's facing right now. Later that day, Nadia attends an antenatal class by herself to prepare for her child's birth. In the evening, a classmate offers to take Nadia to the bus stop because she fears she'll get drenched in the rain. Nadia doesn't want to burden her and her husband, so she lies about having an umbrella in her backpack and that she has someone to pick her up. Once the couple leaves, Nadia wears her hoodie and steps into the rain, a price she pays for being prideful. One day, while Nadia is meditating at the park, Brando, alongside his girlfriend, approaches her, making her uncomfortable. Brando greets her, but Nadia refuses to return it, so he thinks she doesn't recognize her.